Hey everyone, it's Will. Today is July 9th, 2014, and this is my girlfriend Rebecca of 3 years, and we are going to make a video answering the questions you asked us.
Do you wanna? Okay, I'll start. So, number one is how did you meet? So we met almost 4 years ago when I enrolled in Will's school, and I actually decided to go there because of a newspaper article that Will was in, saying that there was a QSA there. So, charmingly enough, in a roundabout way, he's the reason that I went to that school and that we met. Not at all creepy or stalkerish the way he tells it.
Entire reason.
So I spotted him in the school library and introduced myself and asked when the meeting was. And then it took him 9 months to ask me out.
Alright, question 2 is when did you tell her you were trans? So I didn't tell her, like, specifically. I came out at school, and our high school was pretty small, so everyone knew. So I guess I would have told her what I told the entire QSA, and yeah, that was like 3 weeks after we met. So
Yeah.
we technically did know each other when I was pre-transition, but not really.
Kind of hit the ground running on that one.
Yeah.
And so how do each of you identify? I identify as a cis woman, and I am straight. But if Will and I broke up, I wouldn't like rule out dating people of any gender. But like right now, I'm attracted to men.
Yeah, and I'm obviously a transsexual man, hence the entire existence of this channel. And I'm also heterosexual. I do like kind of believe in the fluidity of sexuality for myself, but I've only ever been attracted to women in my life, so I assume that will be the rest of my life. But I mean, I wouldn't like rule it out if I were single. But yeah, I'm straight.
So number 4 is did you question your sexuality when you first liked Will? And being dead honest, I did. But I'd also been questioning my sexuality for like a year before that. And I wasn't really hanging out with a lot of people at that point in my life, so I was just a raging ball of hormones, and everyone looked attractive. So I was also really uneducated at the time, so I couldn't really understand what I was feeling because I was attracted to him as a guy, and I saw him as a guy, but my brain was like 4.5 steps behind and didn't quite get the memo.
And most people still identified me as female, even though I had come out.
Yeah.
So
That was a little awkward.
yeah, like most people we knew didn't really identify me as male for a while.
So number 5 is how is dating Will the same or different than dating a cis man? And honestly, I wouldn't know because Will is my first partner. So, but what I hear from my friends who date cis men, it's really not that different. And number 6, does your family know Will is trans? How do they feel about it? How did you tell them? So my immediate family knows, and they're really supportive. They all found out like I did when Will was forced to come out publicly at school. My extended family doesn't know, except for one aunt who had to pick us up for an emergency room once. So we're still talking about that one.
Yeah, we're figuring it out. Eventually they will know, but
Play it by ear.
yeah, they know right now.
Number 7, how has Will's transition affected the relationship? What are some hurdles you've had to overcome? And I think, like, I don't think between the two of us there are that many, like, specific hurdles.
No.
Like, sometimes we're both just dicks.
Yeah.
That's the biggest
I'm just an asshole, so dating me kind of sucks.
I think what specifically transition related medical stuff is hard. And the system is gross and broken. And it's hard when other people are negative and the two of us can't help but react, and often we're not reacting in sync. So like one of us is like, ah! The other one's like, oh, no big deal. People suck sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, we take turns doing that.
Yeah, it doesn't happen very much anymore, but before when we first started dating, like I wasn't on T for the first year and a half or so of our relationship, so sometimes I wouldn't pass, and then usually if someone said something to us that was negative, usually I would be the one to react negatively. Usually. But not always. And yeah, that was tough, but that wasn't anything about, that was just people sucking.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So number 8, does Will being stealth affect your life at all? So yes and no, mostly no. Yes, in the sense that I find it a little bit uncomfortable not being able to be totally open with my extended family. And I sometimes wish I could tell people who I'm becoming close friends with so that I don't feel like I'm watching my words, but no, because it's just not that. It sounds like a dick move to say it's not that big a deal. It's not that big a part of our relationship. Like, we're way more often on an average day to be talking about like Friends, the TV show.
Not real friends. We don't really have friends.
Or like cats, or I don't know. What do we talk about?
I don't know.
Fight about cleaning things. God, fight about cleaning things. Yeah, politics, homework,
Food.
Yeah, and I also have a lot of close friends who have like happened to have dated trans men, like oddly enough. So
well, yeah, we still have friends from when we were more heavily involved in like the queer community. So we still have friends from that. So there are people that know that I'm trans, or just people who knew me from before,
who just get it. And one of my close childhood friends knows. Two of them, and they're awesome. So.
Oh yeah.
Yes, 2 of them. I have 2 friends.
You have friends? No. Okay, I'll let that.
Number 9. How did you feel when Will got surgery? Were you nervous, scared, sad, happy? I was so jet lagged from a trip I'd gotten back from 5 days before, and the travel that we did to get to the hospital, that I don't think I was nervous. And I was also nervous about spending time with his mom, one-on-one. I wasn't really nervous until 2 minutes before he was about to go to the OR, and I froze up. I didn't even tell him I loved him, and then I was like, oh god, he's gonna die.
I definitely said I love you to both of you, and I don't think either you or my mom said it back.
No, your mom said it back.
Oh yeah,
She's
she did,
a good person, and I was like, is it awkward if I tell him that I love him in front of his mom? Like, is that weird? So I was really happy he was getting it, and I was happy before and after. But in the middle there was nothing. So Will, you have a question now.
Oh, I have a question.
Yeah.
What's the hardest part of being in a relationship and being trans? For me, it's probably having to share my feelings of dysphoria with someone, because generally I don't really tell the details of it. Obviously people who know I'm trans know I have dysphoria and I'm uncomfortable with my body and whatnot, but generally I don't, unless it's a doctor, I don't have to tell them specifics. So it was really hard at first when we first got together. I mean, when we first started dating, we were 17, and
babies.
It was a pretty casual, it was a high school relationship, so I wasn't going to jump into all the personals of my life.
This is the longest summer fling ever.
3 years later. But as time went on and we kept dating longer and we got closer to each other, I definitely had to share more of myself with her, and that was difficult for me, but she was really understanding and patient, so it wasn't too hard. And I guess the other hard part would be that sometimes I feel inadequate to cis men, especially if I'm feeling especially dysphoric or something. I feel like it's not fair that she has to deal with it, but then I remember that she could just break up with me, so it's not really her. If she didn't want to be here, she wouldn't be, so whatever.
Yeah, we've had that conversation a couple of times.
Yeah.
But it's okay. All it needs is a reality check.
I like those. No, I don't, but I do them all the time. Alright, so that's all the questions that we got. If you have any more questions, leave them in the comments below, or message me on Tumblr, and we'll just write out an answer to them. And thank you for watching. Bye.